What's good, YouTube? It's Aurzyn, and you guys can see that we're on a different game today. We're on next gen. You know what I'm saying? We're not on current gen. I'm normally on current gen, but you guys can see I'm a level 40, 99 overall GOAT tier on my Playmaking glass cleaner. And, you know, I'm just going to be showing you guys the power of this build and how much I've really just been dominating next gen with it. And it's very, very similar to my current gen build. So if you guys are like a fan of my current gen build, you guys are going to like this video. So make sure to stick around. Even if you don't play next gen, give it a chance. You know what I'm saying? Give it a chance. Stick around and watch the entire video, because I'm going to go into depth and just show off this build entirely. And yeah, if you guys are new around here, make sure to hit that sub button. We are on the road to 20,000 subscribers right now, so I would greatly appreciate if you guys could hit that sub button. As well, if you do enjoy this video, make sure to hit that like button. And yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright guys, so in this video, I'm going to be having 3 different games to show you guys. We're in the first one right here, and I'm not gonna lie, this was my first game after hitting level 40. I literally hit level 40 the game before this, and I was on a little bit of a streak. I think it was like a 2 or 3 game. It wasn't really much of a streak, but I literally just hit level 40, and this was the first game after I hit level 40. You guys can see, bro, like this build is really insane, and I'll pop up the stats on the screen right now. But you guys can see this build like doesn't really have a weakness. Like, it could do everything, and that's what I really like about all my builds. Even my play glass on current gen, its main weakness I would say is shooting, but it could shoot good enough to the point where I can make every single open shot no matter where I am on the court, and even if I dribbled already. That's very important for current gen. Now this build I'd say is even more overpowered than my current gen build. Now the one main thing or weakness I would say about this build as opposed to my current gen build would be my dribbling on this game. Now dribbling on this game, the builder on next gen I would say is very balanced, so you can't exactly have a tall dribbling build that's super quick like you can on current gen. Now with this build though, don't get me wrong, it's not as quick as my current gen build, but it is still really fast and really hard to guard. You can see in these clips, I'm just cooking. I'm literally just cooking. He can't guard me, and I'm literally just cooking up. Like look at this, just a 3-pointer right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can actually hunt for threes with this build too, and that's what I really like. My dribble moves are a little bit different than current gen, like I said, because you have to make up. Like, I only have a 75 speed with ball on this build, and that's really good for next gen. But as opposed to current gen, where I have like a 95 speed with ball or something crazy like that, it's very slow in comparison. So you gotta make up with it. It's okay though, because the build is still very good in my opinion. And you guys are seeing in this game right here that I'm literally just going up. Like, we're what, a couple minutes into the video, and I'm already about to end game 1. Like, I've literally just been talking about my build, like the strengths and weaknesses of it, for 2 minutes, and we're already about to end game 1. But besides that, this build it doesn't really have much weakness besides that one thing that I mentioned. It could just do everything elite. And one thing I really like about this build, and I don't know how much I showcase it in this video, but one thing I really truly do like is my takeover. Now, there is so many, if you guys did watch my build video, which if you haven't, go do it. I dropped a build video on this build right here on next gen. If you guys have not watched that and you want to make this build, go check that video out. I'll link it in the description. But the takeovers. Now, if you guys watch that video, you would know my takeover options are super versatile. And I gave ways to just slightly tweak the build to get a certain takeover if you want it. Now, I slightly tweaked this build to get shot creating takeover. I wanted to break people's ankles. And you can see in this game, this dude was actually just greening like some mad contested like shots and shit. And but the reason I kept that in is I wanted to show this build's defense off. I'm 6'7" with this build, and what that allows me to do is actually just play super good defense, ISO defense especially. Now what they can't do is, you can see right here, he tries to drive in and I just block him. Chase down blocks are extremely overpowered on next gen, and with that being said, my build is super overpowered as well, because I have super high block rating. So what I could do is press people, make them dribble for a while, and after they dribbled for a while, I can go ahead and play them back, let them shoot. They're gonna miss if they've been dribbling for a while, and that's really how you play defense in this game. And what I've noticed about defense in this game is there's a huge skill gap to defense in this game. You'll have people that are just terrible at defense, and then you'll have people that literally will never let you score ever, no matter how hard you try. Their defense is just too good. They can predict exactly what you're going to do every single time. And with that being said, you could do that with this build. This build is such an all-around defender. It can play the 1 or the 2-on-2s, which is why I really like it. I can play, you can see in this gameplay, I'm playing with another center. I'm playing with Kelsey, and she's on a center. But some of my other teammates have also been like lockdowns and builds that are shorter than me, and I can run the 2 just fine. I don't get bullied. I can play good defense, and that's what I really like. I could just play good defense on any build, and I can ISO. That's the main thing I was going for with this build, and that's the main thing. You can see right here, I got caught jumping and they scored. But trust me, bro, we've literally been playing defense. If you guys been watching this game, we've been playing defense this entire game, like really solid. And I keep getting stops, and unfortunately, the 2K was just not on our side this game. They just weren't on our side. They were just making some contested shots in the beginning of the game. We finally got the stop. I think he ripped me one time, but yeah, we finally got the stop. I got takeover, and you know, when I get takeover, it's pretty much over. Another thing about the takeover, forgot to mention. When you have shot creating takeover on this build, shot creating takeover gives you a massive boost to your speed with ball. And that's another reason. I talked about speed with ball earlier being slower on next gen. When you have takeover, you feel just as fast as if you have this build on current gen. And that's what I really like. I really enjoy about the build. So kind of just putting everything that I've talked about so far together and kind of just going over it. This build, it doesn't have a problem finishing. It gets contact dunks if you want contact dunks. It gets good dunk packages. It has a high enough vertical to get all the contact dunks you need. And the other weakness that I mentioned might be like playmaking, but it could playmake just fine too. I'm telling you guys, it can playmake just fine. I dribble with this build, I ISO with this build, so it can finish, it can playmake. It has an 83 pointer. Now that is a huge difference from current gen. With the next gen builder being how it is, there's really like no point of even making a build with like a 65 3-pointer like I have on current gen, because you could just put that 3-pointer up and it doesn't really affect you that much. And that's one thing I don't necessarily like too much about next gen, is that everyone is going to have an 80 plus 3-pointer. That's basically just how it goes. I think even if you make like a 7'3" max wingspan player, I think you still have above a 73 pointer. And that is just insane to me. But you know, that's how they made the game this year, and so I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just going to adapt to it. And yeah, with that being said though, my build is super OP because of it. I literally have I'm a play glass. I have all the same things as a play glass is on current gen, right? But now I have an 83 pointer too. And with an 83 pointer, no one's guarding my ISO. I'm not gonna like, no one is. No one's guarding my ISO. No one is guarding my ISO in this. And you guys can really just see like all of these games, if they do guard my ISO, I get the ball right back because my defense is so good. And that's the really good part about my type of build, is even if you give the ball up, you're gonna get a stop. You're gonna get multiple stops per game. And even if the people you are playing are really good, you're still gonna get multiple stops per game. So kind of just with everything I have said so far in this video, and there's one kind of important thing I want to get into now, is the combination of the speed and size I have. And I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier in the video with being able to play the 1 and the 2-on-2s. But with that being said, if I'm playing the 1, I have a size advantage. And if I'm playing the 2, I have a speed advantage. A center, if I'm playing the 2, no center can keep up with me. Literally no one. I have not played a single center that has good defense against me and can keep up with me. But if I'm playing the 1, I can really just like drive in and bully the guard. If that guard doesn't have good defense, and if the center on their team, if the guard is guarding me and the center doesn't have good help or good bait defense, then I'm getting a 2-pointer every single time. And you guys can see right here, like he just fouled me. I drove in, he played good defense, and he fouled me because he knew if I just literally pressed X, he wasn't going to get a contest, because paint defense is terrible on next gen. Paint defense is terrible, and he won't get a contest. And so I have the size advantage on offense and the speed advantage if I'm playing the 2 as well. And that's one thing that's very good and very overpowered about this build right here. But you know, I don't really have too much more to say. Like, I'm gonna just commentate the game now, so you guys can see right here, he's hiding behind the screen, but you know what I mean, I'm fighting through. Like I said, with this build, you can play really good defense, so I'm fighting through the screen right here. You guys can see 1 second left, he's boxed, but shit, we cannot get a board, bro. In this game, like, we just couldn't get a board for some reason, bro. Like, it was just ass. The boys kept going to him, but we finally got to stop right here. And you know what I mean? Now it's, I thought it was about to rip me right there, but now it's time to cook up right here. It's time to cook up right here. They're fouling. They're reaching, you know what I'm saying? And you guys can really see right here what I'm talking about with this size advantage. I drive in. I don't like that, you know what I mean? I was a little bit too far out the paint. I didn't really like that, but you guys can see right here, he kind of had me boxed, I'm not gonna lie, but I just green right in his eye, like right in his eye. And that's one thing about that 83 pointer that you would never ever get on Current Gen, ever, because I only have a 65 3-pointer on Current Gen. But with that being said, you know what I mean, this dude's defense, it was solid. It wasn't the greatest, but it was solid. The center helps. That's a free 3-pointer. You can't help my boy. But yeah, that was a free 3-pointer. And yeah, we just need one more bucket right here. I think I'm about to drive and get a layup if I'm not mistaken, because he's too small. You know what I'm saying? I was talking about it. He's too small. These guards, they're too small to guard me. And yeah, that's gonna be about it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to sub if you guys are new around here, and like if you guys did enjoy this video. But with all that being said, I'm out, man. Peace.